That was awesome.
Yeah. Nice break.
Yes. Good part of the fall festival.
Yes.
You know, it's been fantastic. So for those who are obviously still with us, you know, again, thank you. We know it's long, but you know, it's fun.
Yeah.
So, and then Nathan, how's Nathan doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Glad to be back. Thank you, everybody else, for rejoining us here as we continue on. I know this morning we had some fantastic experiences. We started off talking a little bit about the Fantastic Fall Festival and the schedule, which we'll do again here just to make sure we're all on the same page. There's a few other questions we'll answer to help make sure that as we move forward, as we finish up today and as we look at planning on next week on Tuesday, the 27th, and we move to November 3rd and finalize this with our last full day streaming on November 6th, that you're able to join us and participate with us. We had Leah Day earlier. We had a chance to learn from her a little bit about her experience, you know, as an instructor, quilting supply dealer, really a professional in this field who has information from beginners to professionals. It's been great to have her with us. And she did a secondary afternoon session to start us on part of her quilt along, as she talked about part of her beautiful autumn basket weave. On our site, we'll go back and show you where you can download that if you have a chance to watch that video, as we'll continuously put some of these back up to stream them again for those of you who might have missed it. So thanks, welcome back. We're excited to also continue here this afternoon with a few things, but going back to Mark and Carla, how did you feel a little bit earlier? I think that was a great participation, a lot of great questions, great reviews, great demonstrations with everybody.
It sure was.
Yeah.
You know, even with the beginning, you know, all the way down, I love the comments, and so that, again, I can't reiterate. That's why we like to do live videos, and so making those comments and your thoughts and your questions, all those are welcome. And so it truly makes for a fun get together because it's us with you, and that's what I love. And so for me personally, I thought that went very well.
Yeah, it makes it nice because we can't be there with you at the show. So this is the next best thing. And we have the opportunity to show you the great products and things that we have available for you.
Carla, I really appreciate that. And, you know, we hope everybody is being safe. We really appreciate the opportunity we have of being able to bring this streaming content, this information out to you. Again, we did put a shout out last time. If you have other ideas, this is going to be hopefully just the first of a few different type of events like this that we'll do. Obviously, we have this fantastic fall festival here over this week and the next couple of weeks as well, but we'd love to bring some additional information. I know we kind of talked about last time with Carla being in charge of all of our education, and part of really where we're trying to go as a business and providing some of the best experiences possible when it comes to quilting with min long arms and other tools. We're curious to hear what you would like to see and what you would like to hear, and how we can help make sure that we're creating the right kind of content. So again, if you have input or feedback, please go ahead and leave those in the comments. Also, feel free, you can give us a call at any time. We'll be putting that information up on the site where you can see we have our 800 number, 1-800-264-0644. You can also just send emails, info at graceframe.com to communicate with us as well. We also have chat while we're here. Mountain Standard Time from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. You can just chat with one of our account executives as well. But love to have that again. Thank you for coming out. What I thought we could do really quick, Mark and Carla, before we get in, we're going to review some of the quilts and take a look and dive into that. I'm going to show you how you can enter your quilts. I want to talk a little bit about the schedule. Look kind of, we'll finish here part of the day with what next week is looking like, but I thought maybe I can just quickly go back into that to share that with everybody. I'm going to go ahead and bring up on the screen here this as part of the site. Now I'm going to go to the main Grace Company. If you go to graceframe.com, one of the first items up top is this fantastic fall festival. If you click on it, it does take you to the Fantastic Fall Festival main site, and you'll notice up at the top that there are some options. You can look at the events schedule, and if we click on that, this is going to show you part of what we had as today. And as we go through this, we're also in this live portion now. And then we also have what's coming up. We have the Yoda of Sewing, Leslie Rutland, who will be able to be joining us, and she'll be sharing some information from her experience with us here right around 5 o'clock our time. But if you go back to the top, you'll notice that there is an option, and we had a lot of people who were joining us last time. We did some amazing giveaways, and they were wondering, how do we enter to win? And if you look here at the top right corner, there's this option up top to enter to win. And then right now, I thought I'd like just to show everybody, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. But this is the 2020 our quilt show and tell portion. And if you look here, there's an opportunity to win prizes in these categories. We have 6 different categories in which we're going to do a first, second, and a third prize. And then there's also one more general bit of information that will be for everybody as a whole. Let's go back here to this one. That will be for all categories, the one who has the most selected votes for it. But I'm going to kind of scroll down here a little bit further. And we got the Hall of Shame. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one just to show you. This does bring up all those quilts. And Carla and Mark, if you'll notice, I've been in this one a couple different times today, and you'll notice there are new quilts being added to this. And I haven't checked the numbers, but I know earlier on this morning we were at about somewhere just under 1,400 quilts, and I'm guessing we're probably over that. We're going to encourage you to enter, and I'm going to click on this so that you can also show, once you've submitted your quilt, you can share that. You can share this via Facebook. You can email a link to your friends so that they can come vote for you as well. You can copy a link to this. You can also add comments. Obviously, when people upload theirs, they're able to put some descriptions as well. So I just wanted to show you that this is underneath the section. You can see that it's easy to click on submitting a quilt. And then there also have been just a lot of additional general questions on how this works. If we go to the bottom of the page here for the quilting area, it just talks about there's a lot of different facts. And so I thought I would just point these out to everybody, just kind of to keep it clean. Again, we get a lot of repeated questions on these type of items. But no, if you still have questions, let us know. Send us a chat, give us a call at that 800 number, send us an email. We would love to help get some information back to you. I know Mark and Carla, maybe you can talk to that briefly. Mark went out and had a chance to talk with some of the account executives. We're hearing that. Thank you to a lot of you. We know that you're calling a lot of our dealers, and we understand that you're asking questions that we're able to help come up with nice questions and solutions. So maybe I can maybe turn the
Absolutely. I've just been noticing, Nathan, as you've been talking, I can see a lot of the viewers are from states that we have dealers in, so I see some Montana on there, South Carolina, California, Pennsylvania, and even I've seen Australia, Canada, and even
Hi,
New Zealand
Charlene.
too. Yeah, Charlene. So thank you to all those. And I know there's more states that are on there. So that's just kind of what I see on the screen over there. So appreciate everybody from the different states that are coming in. Thank you for joining. And it's always fun to see where you're from, and obviously the quilts that you made. So and I did go out, like Nathan had mentioned, and I talked to my team, and a lot of them are saying that the dealers are calling in saying that they've been getting a lot of phone calls from you. So thank you for all the phone calls, for all the questions, and keep them coming. Right, Carla?
Right.
Don't stop. Keep the chat coming, keep the emails coming and the phone calls, because that's what we're here for. And so we enjoy talking to you all. But again, thank you for all the viewerships. All parts of the world are coming in. So I appreciate that, and thank you very much.
And we've given away some great prizes today. And let's just kind of have a recap. We were able to give away a frame and a machine. We were able to give away some Quilters combos, a unique 15R machine, along with a unique a Q-Zone hoop frame. Sorry. We've given away some True Grips, which stabilize your rulers. We've given away comfort cutters, linear sharpeners, True Sharp 2s. So a lot of prizes, so stay tuned and keep coming and joining us and enter to win.
That's right. It almost feels like Christmas in October.
Yes.
I would say September, but Christmas in October is like Santa Claus over here. Both of us giving away gifts and everything. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I thought maybe I could put those on screen really quick. I thought that we've been giving away all sorts of different items throughout the last few weeks as we've been streaming. Today The electric sharpener is one. This was an amazing gift. We did the entire quilters, what we call a master cutting collection, which is just under $400 of true cut items, from all the rulers, the 360 circle cutters, the mats, non-slip pads for those mats, extra blades. And so this was a pretty fun gift to give away. And then Carla, as you mentioned, one of those key items really was that 15-inch machine, which is our most popular machine today. Even having this for, I think, right around 6 years, this is our #1 selling machine. So this was fun to give away, and we included that Q-Zone hoop frame like you're talking about, Carla. So a quilt system. Again, always joking earlier that you don't have to give up the dining room. You can just move your husband's recliner. So it fits in a little bit of everywhere. So super excited to have given those away. And again, if you haven't, I kind of just briefly showed you on the website again where you can go in order to register. Always at the top, you'll notice right on that right-hand side, enter to win if you have not done so. We're going to continue to do this, and we have 3 other full days of streaming. Carla, Mark, anything else you'd like to share before we kind of get in?
No, we just want to thank you for joining us. We're very excited to have you here and to be able to talk about quilting and, all of our wonderful products. And thank you.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. So same thing.
So what I'd like to do briefly is we're going to get into the quilts. What I thought I would just quickly do is give you a taste of what's coming up next week. That way, as we go through part of this quilt, we'll introduce Leslie here following that. And then we're kind of going to be done with our streaming event for today. We will come out at the very end and kind of conclude that. But that way, in the event you've got something coming up as the day moves on, I thought it would be important to kind of show you where we're at and how that schedule looks. I'm going to go ahead and bring that back up here. So give me just a minute on the schedule. Let me go ahead and show this to everybody. I'm going to put this full screen so we can kind of see this. One of the things, if you look at this, as we scroll down this again, this is today, Tuesday. We have a couple things happening, but next week on the 27th is our Tuesday event. And you notice in between that, we'll be posting other events as well. But we're going to come and we're going to introduce first thing next week, the Grace Company team. We're going to let you kind of see behind the scenes on what's going on. It's fun when we have visitors from out of town. We're often able to go give them a tour, and it's quite amazing. Even though we're just a little company here in Salt Lake City, Utah, we've continuously increased our diversity and the amount of skills from internal engineering and electric engineering, and our ability to QC and work through all of our machines that ship internationally. So I love that whole experience as well. We're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to talk about long arm, just wanting to long arm from hobby to business. And Dr. Elizabeth Townsend, who has great experiences in many ways with education, has moved in and with part of her group, they've done some things with quilting, and it's been great to hear her insights, and we'll have a chance to hear from her. Product demos, talking about a few things as we dive into the machines. We find that there's often a lot of questions that people don't know regarding the size, why, and what functions and features might somebody want. We're going to do another big giveaway next week at 2 o'clock. We then have a follow-up to today's launch with Leah Day, the basket weave, and she'll be doing part 2. As we continue, we're going to finish with a workshop, which is a step-by-step loading and quilting on a long arm. And they're going to talk. This is a couple individuals that just barely started, decided to get into this. And as they're doing so, they've learned a whole lot. And we're excited to have this group with Jill Cooper and Sherry Hoffland join us, part of Match Point Quilting Studio, who's just getting started, and talk about some of their ups and downs as they're doing so. Sarah Maxwell, Sarah J, is one of our ambassadors, and she's going to share some interesting things about some quilting styles that she's done with encoding the message into your quilt designs, which is fantastic. So again, that's just kind of a quick glimpse of what we have coming up next week. So we're going to invite you to come back as we do so. But what I'd like to do is we're going to bring Mark and Carla back in here. I want to take a look and kind of put this to the side. And Mark and Carla, I'm really looking just to have kind of a conversation about these. Now, Carla, we have several different categories, and I'm going to ask you to try to decide which one of these, and we're going to do a couple of them, but what one stands out to you the most that we're going to dive into here and start looking at some of those.
I was thinking wild imagination, but I'm really intrigued about surprise oops. So let's dive in and take a look at some of those, because that sounds intriguing to me.
So part of the oops. Mark, how are you feeling about diving into the surprise or the oops ones?
I love these.
Yeah, the
Because
whole.
who hasn't had an oops moment?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking is the whole oops moment, and that oops. I'm curious to see if I could find any oops moments on some of these quilts. So I'm excited to dive into surprise and oops.
And maybe as we're looking at this with those who are viewing, as you'll notice, there are several quilts, and you can scroll through those as you get down. Oh, look at that. That's a cute one.
Mhm.
As you get down farther, you'll notice that it will give you an opportunity to load some more. And we'll do that to continue down this because I know, again, we've got hundreds and hundreds of quilts that have been submitted. But I thought we could kind of start as we go through this. Now, again, I think these will be some of the more recent ones. And this one's looking interesting. I'm only going to say that maybe because I'm trying to see if maybe they have a write-up on why this is an oops. I don't know if everybody can read that. Mark, can you read that for us?
I could read. Yeah, it said it started out as a queen size quilt and ended up an oversized king quilt. So
I told you quilts grow.
Yeah.
These guys don't believe me, but you've just proven my point.
That's right. It says I pushed the limits of my 10-foot grace frame. Unfortunately, the system I am downloading my photo into cropped it
It's
and
gorgeous.
washed out the colors. So
Absolutely beautiful.
that one,
Yeah.
there's your oops,
It grew.
right? It grew.
I sorry, I just love this because this is Carla to me. I've just heard many times that she's like, I don't think it's not finished yet. And I know that often they end up potentially a little bit bigger than where you start. On this one, it might be just adding more of the separate patchwork versus borders on that. So, and I'm glad it fit on your frame. So I'm glad that worked. So congratulations on that one, but absolutely beautiful. And I love the matching pillow as well, the little throw pillow with that, which is great. If you'd like, you can feel free to vote for those. I'm going to jump in here. I apologize. I'm a geometric guy. Yeah. And I'll tell you, let me just start here, Mark and Carla, if I can. This is the sad thing, but it's a true thing. But this is just kind of what it is. With quilting, those that don't know quilting, I think they're like, oh, there's a blanket, right? Like, oh, I'll just go get one from the local store. And they don't understand the time, the love. And then outside of that, I know that there's the money side, right? There's the fabric cost and the finishing cost. And I have come over the last 14 years to drastically more love and begin to understand, what quilting is and the passion that people have for this. And so I just wanted to quickly just share that with you guys. I'm amazed at what's going on. I would like to say that a lot of what we're seeing today is more of art, even though that's not how it's seen in the world. I keep on envisioning how do we help people see that the love that people have. So, but I'm a geometric guy, so I'm going to click on this, and that was my long story around why I'm going to choose geometrics. And I think that one looks pretty darn cool. And
it is cool. It's very cool.
I'm going to read this bottom statement here. It says, this quilt was my own design. Wonderful.
Way to go.
I also wonder, Carla, when you do your own design, are you doing paper templates or are you kind of cutting and piecing as you go? Because I know you guys
It depends just on how intricate. So this one, I probably use a paper piece, but way to go. I love it.
And it says, I picked up 2 meters of each black and white fabric and went with it. I had no idea. So to what I would end up with, it turned out better than I expected. I pieced and quilted it on my own home sewing machine. It's a wall hanging in size. I think that's fantastic. Almost a little bit of an optical illusion. Like I'm thinking, looking at that, I'm seeing gray as part of those colors mixed together. So again, sorry, I'm kind of taking over. That one is just stood out to me because I'm a geometric person.
It doesn't look like an oops to me.
No, you're right, Ethan. It does look like one of those things you look to, and when you spin it, it kind of.
And those two cute babies, they're not oopses, are they? They're darling.
Let's find out. Let's see that one. No, just DVC. There you go. Sorry, I guess just a couple quilts there showing their cuties wrapped in those quilts. So
beautiful.
There's a lot of people on too, so I mean we can't say hi to everybody, but I see a lot of people saying hi from
That is
Sandra,
very cool.
Thank you, Sandra. Neil, obviously Pat's been on there. Debbie. We also have say hi to Sheila in Alabama. Bunny, hi Bunny. Charlene. So there's a lot of people we can keep going on. So Alan, there's a lot of people on there. Elsa. So again, we'll continue to say thanks as they come up, but just know we see it and we're very appreciative of everybody popping on there. we see where you're at. Anyway, I just wanted to comment on that. So
yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. Again, as we've done these events, we also have a lot of people coming back. I saw one, hey, thanks for the great customer service. Thank you very much. We really believe in customer service. We have here, love my 15 in my Q-Zone frame. Maybe I'll just quickly throw that up there as they've done this, looking for a bigger frame. Great, they're on sale. So if you decide you want to, give us a call, or you can find a local dealer. I'm pretty sure they're going to work you a deal. But again, yeah, welcome everybody. Let's move back into this next quilt. I'm going to kind of put this full screen for everybody. Maybe we can see some of that design. Mark, maybe you can go ahead and read part of that bottom piece to us again.
Absolutely. It says, brilliant peacock was stitched out with metallic threads and some embroidery thread. I think this needs more three-dimensional, so the main body of the peacock to have the wow factor I'm looking for.
Well, it's wow to me.
Yeah.
You did an awesome job, and I love that it's you, your own personality, and you put such character into it. So
I love the colors.
yes.
I love the colors on that one. I love
And we can tell
purple.
that it's a peacock. So
I also love the fact, one of the things I love is metallic threads. I don't quilt a lot. I have done a large 60 by 60 medallion with automation on our system with metallic threads. And I love some of those enhancements that you have in some of those designed areas. I always think that definitely helps create a visual place for the eye to go on that. So we're going to go ahead and we'll go pull up another one. If you want, you feel free to go in there and vote for these. I'm going to say this is for those dog lovers. I'm just going to quickly, because you can go, oh, like that, right? My kids love our dogs, so I don't have any great pictures of Eva, our silver lab, but they love our dogs. So I'm pretty sure you love your dogs and your cats. So let's continue down.
So they don't look like oopses to me. So
Sweet
I just
pea.
think they're just very clever and very cute.
That tractor one.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sure
tractor
that's probably
one is
for
very
some,
fun.
It's probably what it's for. Is it a kid, a baby one? Yeah, baby. There you go, baby shower. So,
How cute.
it says made this quilt for a baby boy shower. I could not get the smoke from the exhaust pipe to look good, so I removed it. You should have just kept it. Like,
I understand that. It maybe didn't look quite right. So yeah, I'm glad that you went with your gut feeling and made it your own. That's part of quilting, is you're taking a design and putting your own spin on it.
That is pretty impressive. The question I would ask Carla on this one, and I had a quilt that was given to me by my mother-in-law, and it had some dump trucks and a couple tractors. And she's like, here you go ahead and quilt this. Now, I am not a freehand quilter, so that is a little scary to me. I was lucky I was able to use the automation system and go point to point. So I was able to go around some of the wheel pieces on those tractors. But I'm wondering, how would you maybe quilt something like this if you were to quilt it? How do you do that? Like I look like there's some straight lines quilted around this. Do you have any thoughts on how you would execute something like that?
Well, you just have to sit down and, a design on your quilt is a lot like picking out the fabrics. It really will enhance it, and it will help it stand out. Sometimes you want more designs, more dense designs, and sometimes you don't want it because you want the tractors to be the focus of it. So I wouldn't do a lot of designs in the background, and I would probably use a lighter thread so that the tractors pop. But even swirls or something like that would be very easy and help the tractors to be the main focus of it.
I do love that question, that comment. I think often when we get to the finishing, our brand is really, we're kind of part of the finishing of the quilts. And I do love that. I feel like a lot of people, when they come and they start deciding to quilt, I don't know if they realize that there are different ways of viewing this. Do you want the piecing to show, or are you wanting the quilting to show? And then maybe it's a combination of both of them. And I always think that's an interesting piece that often people kind of overlook, and then they're put in front of it. And then they're like, that might be one of those things. I don't know, Carla, do you ever start before, when you're doing part of the piecing process in your mind, do you start working through part of the finishing at all?
Yes, I do. In fact, when I was piecing the cutie frame quilt, I had already figured out kind of the design I wanted to put in the blocks to enhance it, because I didn't want it to be too busy. I just wanted to be cute and fun. And I wanted the quilting to show that funness.
Carla, I'm going to go ahead and increase the size behind me, and I'm going to bring this quilt to everybody. Tell me a little bit about the quilt that you can see behind me here. It's a circle quilt.
Free motion quilt.
Yeah. Yeah, with that, maybe I can come back, and I know Carla, it looks like, I think you used some circle rulers to help too, and there's some really great overlapping and everything as we were doing all that. For sure. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to continue. I'm going to bring both of us back on there.
It's another category.
So with that, Carla, go ahead and we're going to continue down our quilting here. Let's go ahead and look at this on the side. Continue down. Now, obviously, there's so many beautiful quilts here. I'm looking there at 2017. There is no time limit, so it doesn't matter whether it was done yesterday or if it was done years ago. I know, Carla, you mentioned you'd found one that was an unfinished one from several years ago, if that's correct.
I couldn't even give you a timeline. It was probably even before I started working here, so that's how old it probably is. But I love the colors. It's a log cabin, so I'll hopefully get it finished in the next little while, but we will post it. Oh, wow, that is so pretty.
There's so many beautiful ones.
Yeah.
I'm going to click on this one here for us. I wondered how, I don't know the size. It looks like it might be done with some paper piecing, depending on how small. Can you go ahead and read that bottom card if you can for us?
Mark, go ahead.
Stack and whack idea that ended up as a hexagonal quilt with a riot of colors, now going to be a wall hanging. That's awesome.
Yeah, those stack and whack classes have been very popular, and they are fun classes.
Great. I'm going to continue down here.
Now I'm just looking at this one, and it's standing out to me. No, it's never black and white.
I'm curious to see the quilting on this one. This one looks like it's a combination of what might have been done, and I'm trying to understand if that might be an embroidery piece. I can't really see the details in that one. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah. I wonder if it might be even hand stitch. I'm looking at some stitching around the outside.
Some of the fill in there. That's pretty.
Yeah, it's very
Love that.
I wonder if that's applique.
Trying to look at that. That's pretty. They're all pretty quilts here. Let's keep on going.
When you enter your story, each quilt has a story, and we want to hear that story. So yeah, don't just submit a picture. Just tell us your story, because that's my favorite time, is the show and tell, and for you to be able to tell me your story through your quilt.
I thought about that. I should have read this. It says, this was a Simeon Haskins quilt pattern, and I was trying my newly acquired rulers out, quilted on a domestic sewing machine. So
There's that heart one on there that kind of looks like your lips kind of pieced together, kind of like what you did.
I'm going to go ahead and keep down a couple more, and then we're going to see, Carla, what you would like to look at as part of a secondary one. I'm going to click on this, and that one looks pretty interesting with that feathering in there. And then Mark, if you go ahead and share that story with us again.
Cool. All right. I think that obviously I got mixed up on the first two rows of color. I had to tear apart and sew together, but got it acceptable. Gave it as a gift. They don't quilt and love this ocean.
It's beautiful.
So
Yeah, I
That is
totally
very beautiful.
understand you unpicking it. Yeah, we can all relate to that. I don't know if there's one quilter out there who can't.
It's like free motion. Is on
Yeah,
that
like she
one
did
too,
a
lot
good
of free
job.
motion
A
quilting.
fantastic
Yep.
job.
Again, I'll come back. It looks like feel free to comment. This one says, Nettie, I think you did a great job. It's lovely. Feel free to comment on the quilt you see. I know that those owners of those quilts would love to be able to see any of those comments that you would have. And just as a quick rule of thumb, if you by chance have loaded your quilt some time ago, I'm going to scroll all the way up here real quick. There is a search bar. So if you by chance know, if you have a name for your quilt, you can send that to your friends and it would make it quite easy for them to be able to find that by doing a quick search on there. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go back a category. So that one was our surprise and our oops. Was that right? Is the one we were just in?
Yeah,
What would we be doing as another? Carla?
You know, I to think outside the box. So I would love to watch the Wild Imagination because I think it's fun. Wow. Very cool.
And again, I'm guessing that some of these were posted here quite recently as we're going through those.
And thank you, quilters, for showing us your talents. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful pineapple.
You did a pineapple quilt.
Yes, I did. Not that intricate.
That one is interesting.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Bookcase. I'm going to click on.
Bookcase.
It's very cool.
Picture of a bookcase.
There you go. Why don't you go ahead and read that for us, Mark?
Yeah, bookcase quilt made for my son's 40th birthday. I embroidered some of his favorite authors' names on the books. There are also some family pictures and personal items on the shelves. That
is very cool.
Awesome.
Very neat.
That is, oh my goodness.
That is a one of a kind unique quilt.
Yep, that's love right there.
So I know this is unplanned for, but I'm going to do this anyway with the live streaming individuals. I want to give them away some stuff.
Oh, good.
Like,
I need to be twisting this
yeah. So we weren't really planning on that, but I'm sitting here. I love looking at these quilts as well, but I would love to come back and for those of you that are joining us and participating, I would love to, outside of just for some, hopefully a little bit of some entertainment and some information. There's some other reasons. Again, we're looking at doing these giveaways for those of you that are joining us within the continental U.S., the 48 states, the contiguous. And I would apologize. I know there are people that are visiting us, and I saw some Australians, some other people internationally. Thank you for joining us as part of this event that's happening. But what I'd like to do is, Mark, I'm thinking of, Carla, is there a question that we ought to be posting that we can come back to, that we can find out what we would have from one of our current live viewers? And it would be a question that might be something that they would maybe at least know.
Well,
maybe let's do this.
Okay,
we're gonna do this. Reach into the basket on your right. Don't look. Reach into that basket. I want you to pull something out. And what I'm gonna say is the first person that comments on what it is, if they know what it is, we're going to give them that prize, plus we'll spin the wheel for them. Okay, so reach on down.
Not a trick.
Nope, not a trick. Here, I'm going to go ahead and get us so they can see what's going on here.
Oh, I can use the camera. There it is. All right. All right.
Get a good one, Mark.
Oh,
Hold
wow.
it up. First one to answer exactly what that is. On the chat, we're going to give you that. Give it a name, call it by name.
Can't you zoom in and see the name on
that was
it?
That was it.
Is that it? What?
Well, if I hold it, I gotta keep it like. Okay, here it comes again. Eyes on it.
What is it?
There it is.
I'm going to say you need, and I'm going to say you need to get the right size. Okay, you need to get this. So yes,
one more time.
yes, it's a rotary cutter. Yes, it's ergonomic. But what is it? What is the name of that rotary cutter? What size is it? That's what I'm looking for. What is the name? There's a true cut 45-degree cutter. No, close. Rotary cutter, ergonomic, rotary cutters. Oh, there's a size that's correct. It is a 60mm rotary cutter, true cut rotary cutter. Close, but I am not seeing the name. Not sure if anybody knows the name.
For the exact names, right?
It is. What could that be? If not, I might just throw that up there. True Cut. It is a 60 millimeter True Cut rotary cutter, but what is its name? It is the blank cutter. It's the
blank cutter.
Yeah. And
Blank,
maybe
blank.
I'll give you the first. I'm going to give you the first word is my. So it is the my blank
Put it back up.
cutter.
All right, they're going to get confused with the size. This is a different
Okay,
size.
well,
than
they've
that.
already got the size.
Oh, they already got the size.
60 millimeter.
Okay.
Again, I see
Oh.
that we have a fan in Australia.
Comfort
Right there.
cutter.
We see one.
I'm looking.
I see one right there. Cindy Vines.
Cindy. Let's go down here. You're saying
Cindy
Cindy.
Vines right there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Way to
there are a
go,
couple.
Cindy.
It is the 60 millimeter My Comfort cutter. So where's Cindy? Where's Cindy? Someone help me find her. Send me Cindy. Cindy, what's Cindy's last name?
She said, "My Cindy Vine, my rotary cutter, 60 millimeter." Well,
That is it. We will be asking you, Cindy, to email us.
On the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have you email sales@graceframe. Put this in here. Sales@graceframe.com.
Cindy Vine's under.
Way to go, Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy Vine. Congratulations. So let's do the wheel of prizes.
Fortune.
Wheel of prizes.
Here we go. We're going to spin for next prize.
Let's go backwards on this. Oh, combo.
So what is the Quilters combo? What do they win?
So you actually get another, Cindy, you get another cutter. This is the 45.
You'll love that.
So 45,
Mhm.
the True Grips, and the ruler. So the ruler is 6.5 by 24.5.
Yeah.
The popular size, the pack of True Grips that we keep talking about, that's so popular, and the 45 comfort cutter. So that is also the other prize.
Congratulations, Cindy.
All right. So that's a double win. So they're going to get a 45. Then they get the 60 as part of that, and they're getting the ruler with the non-slip pads as part of that Quilters combo. Congratulations again, Cindy. Go ahead and send that to sales@graceframe.com, and we'll go ahead and get your package delivered to you on your win. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do another question. I don't know if we're going to dig out something else from that bag. What would be the next question you want to put out there really quick for the next giveaway?
Oh, well, I don't know. We could, there's a lot of pressure on one person over here. This is why I'm bald. See, this is why I'm bald.
Let's do one more then.
Well, we can. Who's going to be our final speaker today?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Who's going to be our final speaker today?
Our final speaker be today. Who's going to be joining us here in a few minutes? That would be a good one. That's the one we'll put on.
Final speaker.
Final
At 5 o'clock today.
whoever wants to answer.
You can go online and see.
Okay, there we go. Is it from Diana? Good. Diana.
Congratulations.
Diana G. The last name, though, is close. Good enough. I think it's Rutland. So
Yeah.
way to go. That is Leslie. And Mark, we're going to go ahead and have you spin the wheel twice for her as well. So let's go ahead and spin that wheel and see what we're going to be giving her as a prize. And then we'll continue with our quilts here.
So True Cut 360.
Nice.
So go ahead and show us that.
The circle cutter.
So that is what we've been talking about, the quilt behind Nathan. That's
Yeah.
what was used with our circle cutter. So this is a phenomenal circle cutter. It actually is one that if you've ever thought about doing circles but didn't have the right tool, this has a wide base that keeps the fabric from wanting to bunch up underneath. And it uses a 18 millimeter blade on there. So fantastic way of cutting circles. And you can cut to 4 layers of fabric. So wonderful gift. All right, second one, Carla. Let's give that a spin on your side.
Oh, come on.
And some finesse thread.
Awesome.
So,
Yay.
Carla, let's talk about the finesse thread again.
Yeah, it's our finesse thread. It's a 50 weight. It feels like a cotton, but it's actually a polyester thread. It sews beautifully. You are going to love it. Less lint, and they're not huge spools of thread, so that you'll be able to use them for one king size quilt and several bobbins. So
Yep. That's perfect. So finesse thread and the circle cutter. Good job, Diana.
Right.
Don't forget to email in your information, please.
gracegraham.com.
All right, we'll go ahead and pull that up. I'm gonna go ahead and bring back up on screen here some of those other quilts, and we'll continue with this. Now, again, this is the category, if we look at the top, is Wild Imagination from where we're at, and we're gonna scroll down. We just had a conversation here about this, the bookcase one, which was done with some embroidery. That's a cute one, look at that. Faith, Hope, Love, Wild Imagination. Now I got to click on that one. Let's take a little look at this one, and Mark, maybe we can read part of what that bottom is.
Off the screen there.
So I could read it. There, okay. This was a wall hanging with machine quilting and embellishment with cording to add to all the wave design. And to pick it up, the vibrant colors of the tropical sea print. The border further picks up the sea motif, measures 36 by 28.
That is really cool.
I love the personality of the fish.
Yes.
It looks like they're smiling and they're happy fish.
Ooh, the bee right there. Nature's
wow.
queen, yeah. Perfect for the beehive state.
Yes,
what
that's
Utah
right.
is, the beehive state. So, all right, that one says, this quilt was my own design, inspired by the bees and flowers in our garden. Hand pieced.
Nice.
That's great. Hand quilted, even better.
Oh, wow.
Carla used to hand quilt, right?
Yeah.
And applique. 1 year of hard work. Additionally, I learned English paper piecing, making this quilt. So that's even. So I wonder where you're from. If you want to make a comment, whoever made this quilt, if you see this quilt, I'm
nice
where you're
job.
From. Yeah.
I love that it's your own design too. This is better than any quilt show I've ever been to.
Red graffiti. That's pretty cool.
Maybe I'll just make a quick comment too. I was thinking about paneling is changing some of the things a little bit as well. I think that's interesting where a lot of us, like I am not a piecer. I've done and I've quilted several quilts, meaning finished those. I haven't pieced one. And I prefer to work with a design if there's been something on there, which is a little bit different. And I know this one's not, I don't know if that one's been painted or not. Maybe we can go on and look and see if this one was, they did one here. It says, looks like panel quilted with applique paws around the outside there. It's pretty.
Yeah. And I love the graffiti quilt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I took a Carly Porter graffiti class as well, so I can appreciate that. Very cool, very nice.
Go ahead, Mark, and read that for us as well.
Yeah. Thread graffiti created with colorful threads and wild designs. All free motion quilting.
Nice.
This super fun quilt is a modern version of a wool cloth quilt. Whole cloth quilt.
Yeah, see, you don't need a piece quilt to be a quilter. Yeah, the quilting on this is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's very fun.
High five for Nanas. That's kids to Nana right there.
Yeah.
Grandkids to Nana. That's awesome.
Here's one I think that's interesting. I feel like this is a strong encouragement. I want to kind of share this just a little bit because between what is, you got traditional, modern, current quilting. And, I think there are these others which are multimedia where you're using different components that also are not necessarily flat, but are three-dimensional. So I just thought I'd pull this one up because I think it's interesting how people are again, changing what they believe and how they feel about what is the art and how that's done. So Mark, maybe I can go ahead and have you read part of this for us as well.
Art quilt made in response to a guild challenge in which I drew the slip with the saying, heard it through the grapevine. So that's a fun.
I know, I love it.
Yeah. It's like, and then it says, times have been hard for the world. And the poem quoted on the what's it say? Inner Border is by Alice Walker from her book by the same Hard Times. Require furless dancing, machine pieced and quilted, embellished with the spirit of the vine doll, They say beading,
I love that doll.
thread sketching, leaves were printed on fabric with the music from this song. There's a whole story right
That
there.
is awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
that. Yes.
So kind of to elaborate a little bit now, obviously if you're to look at this, a poem partly in part of the border, it says at the end, the leaves were printed on fabric with the music from the song. Obviously as part of the hard times, she felt part of what that is now as part of that, that book, right? The hard times require fierce dancing. So wonderful, fun, great thing. This is just one of those, again, for all those that are watching, we'd encourage you to go out, you know, look at this, please make a couple comments for everybody in the participation, and then submit your quilts as well. Get them in there for a chance for everybody else to see. Our whole goal when we did this was, you know, when we said, hey, let's have a quilt show, and the first thing that came to my mind is, I don't want a quilt show that is kind of judged in a way, because everybody all of a sudden says, well, I don't want my stuff to be scrutinized. I don't want it to be honed in. I don't want someone to look at it with a fine tooth comb, because I don't feel like maybe I'm ready to do that. So I was really adamant that we open this up and we have categories that allow anyone and everyone to share all of what they've been doing in over any period of time with the rest of us. And so again, just thanks for everybody in your participation. I just want to encourage those that are here that maybe haven't submitted a quilt to feel free to do so. Several different categories that you can really participate in. So kind of anything goes with this. So thanks again for your participation with that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to continue here just a little bit more. Let me go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Should we take a look at that one, Carla?
Yes. I love looking at them all. It's so much fun, and I love the personality and the thoughts that you quilters have put in and brought to your quilts. No, nobody can hear me?
You're good.
Oh, okay. And, you know, I love the stories behind them. I can appreciate it because this is the category I like to do. I like to do my own thing. I don't like people to tell me how to quilt or what should be, how it should be done this way, when I want to go off grid and do my own thing. So I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, and it says, challenge was to depict Newton's law of motion.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Using the provided pattern, fabric, and only adding solids.
Very neat. And you did show the motion very well.
That is pretty cool.
So I appreciate this one so much. And all the time and effort it went into create and design the quilt, because I know it takes time.
It does take an immense amount.
It does. Right? They don't just come together just like that.
I'm going to click on this one here for just a minute. Again, I just find this interesting. It looks like it's an individual who is creating part of this picture, right, with the fabric they're doing. And I don't know if it's going to tell us if it's like raw edge applique or what they're doing to expand it. So I just think this is, again, another fun thing where I think people always, when you think of quilting, you know, depending on what type of quilter you are, I think that continuously is expanding. Like if I am a quilter, I don't need to do some of the old traditional, and there are ways of creating a piece of art, probably drawing it and cutting it. But Mark, maybe I could have you go ahead and read that for everybody again for us so that we can see what they're telling us about this one.
Machine sewn quilt for my newborn granddaughter. I am from Alaska. I made one of these moose quilts for each grandchild.
Oh,
that's
sweet.
That's pretty cool. This grandchild is half Middle Eastern, and moon and stars are the popular in their culture.
Oh.
This one has the moon and stars. I also incorporated a cat somewhere on the quilt. That is fun. Now we got to find the cat. On the moon, oh, I just told where it is. Oh. See the cat on the moon trying to catch a star. The back is flannel material with a camel design.
Wonderful. And I'm wondering, I'm trying to look at that. I'm trying to decide where that cat is. Maybe it might be up here on the top, or it's an interesting one with the star on the moon though, but how fun, right? Fantastic. So And we're kind of coming down. We don't have too much more time before we bring Leslie on. Again, here's maybe another panel quilt where we're ending with panels, which again, a lovely way to do quilts. If you're not necessarily piecing it, that definitely gives you a lot more. I know that you can also, these days, also have fabric printed. There's custom printers as well if you're an artist that's designing things that way also. So pretty fun. I'm gonna keep on going down.
I love the selvage edge quilt. That's very clever.
We're gonna go in here. Let's take a look at that. There you go.
Very clever.
Nice.
Thank you, ladies and guys, again, for submitting your quilts and sharing your talents with us.
I'm going to pull this one up. This one just looked
That's
again a
very
little bit more unique, a little different. I'm not quite sure. Part of the technique that might have been used in this. Mark, maybe go ahead and read part of that bottom for us and see what we get.
Discharge painting and embroidered and embellished with crystals on whole
Wow.
black cloth.
So I guess if I'm correct, it looks like they're using some paints, right? And then they're combining that with some embroidery and then embellishing with crystals as part of that experience to create the image on what that is.
It's amazing.
It's a new art form.
Yep.
So I'm excited that just about anything goes. Oh, wow, that's really pretty too. All of them.
Those are all wonderful.
I love the King of Hearts.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that one, Mark. Go ahead and read the King of Hearts for us.
Is this?
It is Elvis, yes. King of Hearts. My guild had a playing card challenge. Each person chose a playing card and what he had to create a wall hanging to depict the card we got. I had an Ace of Hearts, so Elvis immediately came to mind. Of course.
Awesome.
That is awesome. That's fun. I love when that's the second one that the guilds
Yeah.
have had a game. So that is fun.
In fact, that just made me think, you know, with the shout out to that, hey, we would love to have you share this with your guilds and have them participate. I'm guessing you have more than one friend that has a couple quilts they've also done. We'd love to have them all participate as well. So, you know, I'm gonna throw that little shout out. Hey, share this with your guilds if you haven't already done so. We'd love to have and see what your other quilting friends and partners have put together too. So, and I love the creativity they come up with in order to engage, you know, everybody out there in doing so. So it's fantastic.
Nice. Oh, Mickey Mouse.
It's amazing. Though.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Love
Love your wild imaginations.
right. The hard work, the talent. It's phenomenal.
And again, we didn't get through any bit of what we really have on the site there. And I also didn't show you this. I probably should have shown you some navigation. If we're inside of here and you're viewing quilts and you're looking at it and then you find a quilt that you want to look at, one of the other nice things is you don't have to come out if you want. You'll notice to the right and to the left are these little arrows. So you can actually just move through and have those quilts show up in front of you. So if you're on your iPad or you're on a digital device or your phone, you can swipe through this and very easily kind of just pan through those experiences and see tiny babies next to giraffes. or you can see some geometric shapes that are going there. So again, it just shows you that there are several ways that you can go in and browse part of what this experience is as you're going through them. So Harry Potter, and there's all sorts of them in here. UK, go UK. Probably means somebody's initials. Welcome back. There you go. I was thinking, I just want to go on an international trip, so I'm excited about that. Wait, that's probably not what it's about, Mark says. So, but again, there's another way for you to browse as you're looking at that as a quilt. So I'm going to come back before we bring Leslie on here with what we've got going on with everybody that's here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at talk a little bit about Leslie here because we're about ready to get her on here. But before we do that, let's do one more giveaway. I want to do another quick giveaway that I've kind of forgot about here. I was thinking, let's do one more giveaway.
Okay, Mark.
All right, I have a number behind my back. Someone has to guess it. No, I'm just kidding.
Although we could have a number between 1 and 3,225, and whoever gets the closest. I'm just kidding. Everybody's giving me faces, by the way. That was pretty awesome. So I'm just kidding.
Just kidding.
Although I just want to spin the wheel. Like I want to come up with what this is going to be right now. So
Yeah. So, all right. What should we do?
okay, we're doing a number because this is taking a long time. So we're going to do a number between 1. We have about 109 viewers. I am going to do between 1 and 500. I have a number in my head.
Write it down. We trust you, Nathan. And we'll show it on camera.
So, and how are they going to choose? We're going to give everybody
the winner, so we can see. So we could.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Start guessing numbers. I'm seeing them pop up. Someone knows what we're doing here. Between 0 and 500, I have a number.
Oh man, they're coming.
Yeah, they're coming right now. I'm seeing people all over. We're not anywhere near close. Couple, and I know we're not going to guess exactly.
And it's not 501.
If we get within 5, we're going to pull it. We're looking for 5. We're looking for 5.
The price is right.
We're looking for 5. Ooh,
501.
No.
101.
No. Close. Oh no.
Can I guess more than once?
Yeah.
Okay, keep guessing. Like,
We're just going to go until I get a number within 5 of this number.
oh, and Tyler.
So close. No. Ooh, that one's not. That one was 10 away. Too far. Too far. Close. Keep going, guys. We're,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that one was 7 away. Oh, that's 5. Boom. Here you go. Now, okay, so here you go. This is my screen. The number was 28 dive, 28. So the number 5 away is Neil Summerlin. Congratulations. We're gonna go ahead and spin the wheel for you twice. Nell, make sure to send an email to sales, SALES at graceframe.com.
Receive your 2
Mark, let's go ahead and, Carla, you spin this once for me. We're gonna do a giveaway.
Yay, the linear sharpener.
Pull that out quick, Mark. Give us a quick what's up on the linear. So this is a rotary blade sharpener.
It's great for while you're cutting. You can keep your blade nice and sharp. You don't have to take the blade out to sharpen it. You just swipe it through the little crack right there. It has a diamond honed stone in there, and you'll just swipe it through. So,
Absolutely.
okay.
Okay, good deal. So again, this
Nice.
Carla, does this work with any rotary blade sharpener? I mean, sharp rotary blades, cutters, right? For most of them.
It will not sharpen, so don't use those, but most. Any
60 millimeters.
60, 45, and 28.
Yep.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and spin another one for gift number 2.
Okay,
All right. I'm gonna go hard. Go hard or go home.
right. Oh, awesome.
Comfort cutter. So
There you go.
it is.
The My Comfort Cutter.
My comfort cutter. So this has almost been like the star of the True Cut line right now. Is the ergonomic comfort cutter. It, I mean, does everything you want it to do as far as keeping your wrist straight, your arm less stress, less pain. So when you're cutting, you can see on the screen right there. So go to our website. You can see many features of it. I will say that it keeps your wrist straight. It keeps you cutting. You can cut with more power with less effort, is what I like to say. You don't have to use a lot of effort to cut more through more layers of fabric. So my comfort cutter 45, which is our standard.
Yes, so email sales@graceframe.com.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, what we'd like to do at this point, so thank you everybody for participating. We're gonna go ahead and we're ready to bring a video put on by Leslie Rutland again, who we refer to as the Yoda of quilting is what we have. I'm just gonna read this little bit of information about her, and then we'll go ahead and we'll play her video that we have ready to go, which is super exciting to have her as part of this. Let me go ahead and maybe, Mark, I'm gonna have you come grab this really quick and do me a favor and read through that for everybody while we're prepping with what's going on here.
go ahead and read that one more time, Mark.
Oh,
Sorry.
They didn't hear you.
Now, go ahead.
okay.
Let's get through that again.
All right.
Put more heart into it, Mark.
Oh,
Let's take number 2, Mark. Come on.
Leslie
Don't let you
Rutland
care.
is
Yes.
a quilter, blogger, and social media influencer. Today, she'll be sharing tips on how to embrace your craft, make time for your projects, find contentment, and cultivate a community of people who love to sew and complete projects together. She's going to teach us why she believes that every day can be extraordinary when we celebrate our creativity together.
She's right.
She is right. That's
Welcome to my talk, The Yoda of Sewing. I'm Leslie Rutland. In 2011, I created a website called The Seasoned Homemaker as a way to share simple sewing projects and help like-minded sewists connect with the joy of sewing. Early on, I learned that there are lots and lots of you who find fulfillment through sewing and quilting, but something always gets put ahead of creating, and then you're left feeling frustrated and creatively empty. Have you heard this before? You were made to create. And because of this, I truly believe that embracing your own individual creativity is one of the secrets to a fulfilling life. When you put everything else in front of this, important things like family or friends, job, and even housework, eventually you come up empty because you've neglected an important part of your life, creative self-care. I'm going to share 6 ways you can begin the journey of embracing your creativity. Step 1, listen to your inner whisperings. We all have them, those inner whisperings that nudge us to pursue the things that bring us joy. They push us to follow our curiosity. It doesn't matter where you are on your creative journey, these whisperings are pointing you toward inspiration. How do you recognize this true inspiration? Simply, when you think about it, you feel energized. Something lights up inside you, and that's how you know you found true inspiration. This happened to me at QuiltCon 2015. I had listened to an inner whispering about learning how to use color in quilts, so I signed up for a class on the subject. In the class, we learned about using half-square triangles to create designs. This is a basic quilting technique. However, something clicked in my brain, and from that moment, I was obsessed with quilting. I saw new shapes in everyday items. I thought of ways to incorporate other details, like applique, into quilts. I wanted to read more about quilting, look at books and magazines with quilt designs. I created tons of new Pinterest boards for different types of quilts. And by listening to those inner whisperings, I found my quilting niche, which is a blend of traditional and modern quilting. Listen to those inner whisperings and they will point you in the right direction. Step 2, resist the fear. Fear, that thing that stalls you and makes you resist the very thing that is calling out to you. Is this you? You have an idea for a quilt, so you sketch it out. You start doing the math, and then you remember that there are dishes in the sink and a stack of towels that need washing. Instead of working through the quilt math, choosing fabrics, and making the quilt a reality, you focus on something else and you never even get started on the quilt. Resisting the urge to create equals fear. Fear that your idea isn't good enough. Fear that you might fail. Fear that you aren't creative. I'm here to tell you that you need to be brave and face this fear. You are made to create, and when you are creative, it will bring you joy and fulfillment. I challenge you to resist the fear and embrace your creativity. You will not be disappointed. Step 3, finding the time to sew. Listening to your inner whisperings and resisting the fear are a start, but the struggle with finding the time to sew is real. Is this you? You can't seem to squeeze in a moment here or there to start a project, let alone finish one. You desire projects that can be wedged into a busy life, simple projects that can be finished in an afternoon, but don't know where to start. Does it seem like time slips away before you can even begin a project? When I think of finding time to sew, I think about something I call the sewing space-time continuum. You know the one I'm talking about, where you sit down to sew for 15 minutes and 3 hours later, you're still missing an action. It's like the minute your foot hits that sewing machine pedal, you enter a sewing black hole. Sometime in the distant future, you find your way back to reality. Here's an example. You notice that your husband is cleaning up the kitchen, so you think, I have 15 minutes. I'll just whip up that quilt block I've been planning. It'll only take a few minutes. The next thing you know, the sun is rising in the east. That, my friends, is the sewing space-time continuum. In reality, the problem isn't time, it's time management. Back to my quilt block example. Yes, a quilt block can likely be sewn in 15 minutes. However, everything must be ready to go for that to happen. Step 4, be ready to sew. In order to best manage your sewing time, you will need to do a few things to prepare. For instance, in the example of sewing a quilt block in 15 minutes, you will need to be preparing with the following. The quilt pieces must be pre-cut and ready to be sewn. The correct color thread and bobbin must already be loaded into the sewing machine. Scissors, rotary cutters, mats, and ironing board must all be in place, ready to go. That way, when you can grab 15 minutes to sew your quilt block, all you have to do is run to your sewing space, sit down, and sew the block. I have a few suggestions to help you get and stay organized. The sewing machine. If you can only sew in small units of time, then you will need to have your sewing machine ready to go. Be sure that the machine is cleaned and oiled from your last project. Have the correct needle for your project loaded into the machine. In an ideal sewing world, you would have a dedicated space for your sewing machine, and there would be an iron and ironing board close by. If you don't have a dedicated sewing space, keep your machine close by on a shelf with the power cord and the pedal nearby. Project boxes. I love to put everything for a particular project into a clear plastic storage box. I really like scrapbooking boxes for this, especially for quilts, because you can layer all of the block pieces as you cut them out. Think about everything you will need for the project. Think about the pattern, the fabric, some scissors, a few notions, pens, fabric clips, fabric markers, etc., and have them all in the box with the fabric ready to go. Wrap things up. If you have a dedicated sewing space, a simple way to be ready to sew is by having everything you need for the project wrapped up or folded over together. That way you can have it set out next to your sewing machine, ready to get started at a moment's notice. Just unfold and you're ready to sew. With quilts, this can be a little tricky, especially if it's a larger quilt. But for smaller projects like a pillow, a bag, or kids' clothes, this method works great. Use plastic zipper bags. If you have limited space or your sewing area is a shared space, such as a dining room, you may want to store your project pieces in clear zipper bags. They don't take up much space like a plastic storage box would. They can easily be tucked away in a drawer or cabinet, and nothing can be spilled on your project. For larger projects, I recommend using the extra large Ziploc bags. Step 5, who is the Yoda of sewing? Do you remember Yoda from the Star Wars movies? Yoda was never the hero. Yoda was Luke Skywalker's mentor and guide. Why am I mentioning Yoda? Because everyone needs a little help finding their inner sewist. You need a mentor or a guide, someone that can put you on the path to finding your true sewing and crafting self. Not someone who tells you what to sew, but someone who guides you toward finding your inner sewist. So when you begin to embrace your craft, it will bring you joy and you'll be begin creating things that just light you up inside. And of course, that kind of joy will be contagious to those around you. No longer will you struggle trying to find time for projects. You will hear the inner whisperings that fuel your creativity, and you'll be able to find pockets of time to create in an otherwise busy life. Instead of struggling to work on a project, you will feel contentment, because in truth, that's what really fuels your creativity. Step 6, finding community. There's a saying by Helen Keller: alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Another step in cultivating your inner sewist is community, a group of like-minded people who are interested in the same craft as you are. A place where you can share your ideas, learn new techniques, and make a few friends. It's about getting inspired and sharing ideas. There are so many places this can happen. One place, quilt guilds. These are traditionally where people have gathered to share quilting ideas and learn new or different quilting techniques. Lately, guilds have gotten very creative with ways to meet. Some guilds are having small backyard gatherings. Others have moved online. The bottom line is this: quilt guilds will find a way to meet and share new ideas. Facebook groups. There are so many different Facebook groups dedicated to every type of quilting and crafting. There are groups for hand quilters, long arm quilters, machine quilters, traditional quilters, modern quilters, and even applique quilters, and more than I can even name. Whatever interests you, there is a Facebook group you can join. Online learning platforms. Have you heard online learning is no longer on the fringe? Instead, it's quickly becoming the preferred way to learn a new craft, skill, language, or you name it. And many of these online learning platforms have some sort of built-in community. It could be a Facebook group, or it could be an online forum within the platform. Personally, I've learned a ton of new skills this way. Plus, I've connected with lots of like-minded sewists. In-person classes. This has traditionally been the way to learn a new skill, but in 2020, in-person classes got sidelined by COVID. However, I'm noticing more and more of these types of classes popping up, using proper social distancing and mask wearing. These classes are perfect for finding a community of sewists with similar interests and who want to do the same type of things you want to make. Shows and conventions. Have you heard about the Houston Quilt Festival, or Paducah, or QuiltCon? These are all major quilting and sewing events with classes, lectures, and an amazing quilt show. If you can't make one of these major conventions, fear not. There are always local or semi-local shows you can attend, which will also host classes and other learning events. These are one of the best ways to find local sewists who share a common interest. So I'd love to stay connected with you. Like I said, I'm Leslie, the seasoned homemaker, and I'd love to get to know you better. We can stay connected several different ways. The first way is by you subscribing to my newsletter at seasonedhomemaker.com. There are lots of places on the website to subscribe. At the top of the website or anywhere you look on one of my blog posts, you'll find a way to subscribe and start receiving email newsletters that go out weekly-ish, usually not more than once a week. And they always include a project, an interesting tip, maybe someone has a great offer or a sell on products, but you'll always get the latest information on something interesting that's related to the sewing world. And I have a free PDF available called 10 Proven Tips for Finding Time to Sew. If you'd like this free download, just visit seasonedhomemaker.com. And in the middle of the page, you'll see a box where you can subscribe and receive this free PDF download. You must fill this particular form in order to receive that PDF download. I'm also on Instagram, and my handle is @theseasonedhomemaker. I post things regularly there. Sometimes I put fun things in my stories or just repost other people's interesting projects. You'll always find my latest blog post on the feed of Instagram. And of course, you can find me on Facebook. Look for me at facebook.com/The Seasoned Homemaker. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this short talk. I hope I've inspired you to listen to your inner whisperings. Resist the fear that keeps you from creating. Find the time to sew and create. Embrace your creativity. Find a sewing community. And absolutely celebrate your creativity.
Wonderful. That's so great to hear from Leslie. It's been fantastic to have such great ambassadors that have such great knowledge. And as we're kind of bringing part of this to an end, I just wanted to really, again, just thank everybody who's had a chance to join us. As we're doing so, I thought I would like to just one last time share some of the information that we have on the different promotions as we kind of finish up part of what we have going on. And I would encourage you to go to graceframe.com to visit and see any of the the schedule on what's coming up. And at the end, one of the other things would be is we've had a lot of different conversations on a lot of different products. And so I'm just going to kind of briefly scroll through some of these last promotions with those who are with us. And again, as a last piece, we encourage you to come and join us next week on Tuesday as well, 11 Mountain Standard Time, where we have a great schedule that we'll be streaming all day. We're going to be giving away additional prizes live for those that are participating. And we're going to be continuously expanding and sharing more from all of our visitors who are here. Looking quickly at these promotions, this is starting off with our 21, and they're on sale with a free frame and a free light bar. Amazing products when it comes to the 21 Pro and the 21. We've done a lot of demonstrations today on the Q-Zone hoop frame, and this is one of those packages in which you can buy a 19-inch, our Unique 19, with its touch screen and its adjustable handles and its stitch regulation. And it comes with the Q-Zone Hoop Frame Pro, and that's on sale for a wonderful price, again, of $6,999.95. I would encourage, again, anybody to go and find on our website your local dealers. If not, please feel free to give us a call. We're glad to help answer any questions you might have. We also had the 15. This was one of our big prizes we gave away today. So we gave away the 15R on the Q-Zone Hoop Frame. You can see that that is on sale for $4,499.95, and that does come with that free Q-Zone hoop frame or a queen frame as well. And then we did quite a few different things regarding some demonstrations on our frames. And I'm going to kind of go down here. We talked earlier about the Q-Zone Hoop Frame Pro, and obviously we have the predecessor to that, the Q-Zone Hoop Frame. Both of those on sale, and those both also come with a luminous 5-foot light bar when you purchase those at no additional cost. Again, if you're an international viewer, we're going to encourage you to find your local Grace Company International dealer that you can make a phone call. I know that they're all running promotions as well, and we'd encourage you to find out and participate with them in a way that helps support part of what we have going on. Again, stay safe. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really have appreciated the support. If you haven't submitted a quilt, we're going to encourage you to do so. Share this with your friends. Share this with the others that you know. Let them participate as well. Let them enter and have a chance to win something, and then join us here next week. So we look forward to it. Thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the evening. And or if it's a new start on your new day, the beginning to your day as an international viewer. So thank you very much.